In this episode of Lift Arc Builds, we finished the roll cage on Santa's sleigh. Woo! Oh, oh. Nobody watches this show. I'm about to misuse my bender. This bender, the JD Squared Model 32, can bend anything so long that you have the right die. This particular die is made for 1.5" DOM tubing with a 6.5" centerline radius. Meaning, if you did a complete circle with it, from the center point of the circle to the center line of the tube, would be 6.5 inches. What this die is not for is 1-inch square tubing. However, I am up against the wall, and I can't for the life of me think of another way to impart a 90-degree bend into some 1-inch tubing right now, at 7:30 at night. So I've already tested it off camera. I was able to bend a 90 with some jerry rigging into some 1-inch tubing successfully and rather smoothly. What did happen though is I sort of hurt. You see those two little marks there? I'm hurting the die. This is the follow bar. The follow bar goes in here, and that's what holds the tube against the die as it's being pulled around. So effectively what's happening is as the square tubing is getting bent around, you know, this does not fit over here. So instead of it distributing the load all the way around the radius of the die, it's really focusing it in those 2 points. So there's a very real chance that doing this again will damage the die in such a way that every subsequent tube I bend in the bender has marks on it because the die is no longer smooth. I realize how sacrilegious this is, but I need a 90 and I need it now.
It's my money and I need it now!
So I only gotta make one bend. This is for the piece of 1 inch. You know, you saw me try to do it with CNC plasma cut parts. You saw me try to do it while heating it and bending it around a die. None of it worked well enough for me to be satisfied. This results in a smooth bend, but I'm damaging my equipment. Hopefully not irreparably. So here we go. I'll load it in and show you what I have to do that. Up. All right, so I'll load it in here and then give you a close-up of how janky this is. Janky is a technical term to explain something that is not done as well as it possibly could be. I have since polished this tube as smooth as possible to give it the best possible chance of not damaging my die anymore. I know there's some people screaming at their computers right now. Don't do it, don't do it. Just wait, buy the right tool. All of you are right, but there is no time. For I am just a man talking to himself in his own shop at 0 hour on the build. So what is happening here is this piece normally clamps in the pipe, but we're not using pipe. So I've had to put some spacers underneath, put some spacers on top, put a spacer here, and put a spacer here to keep that collar in the right spot. Because if it moves up and down, it might tilt the tube this way. So now we will lock this down. It doesn't like it, doesn't like it, doesn't like it. Okay, now we'll bend. We'll see how it happens. So I've drawn a box on the table showing where I want this thing to fit, and it should work. If I use the edge of the table as my reference, we want to cut this here and here. At least that one I can cut in the saw, that one I'll cut by hand. And now the big reveal. Ta-da! That will go just like that. And we'll notch this to go around the tube. We'll weld it here, weld it there. And this is gonna give us a nice surface for the Stokes basket to be clamped to. So that's kind of the whole purpose of this thing. All right, I'm gonna notch this just vaguely. And yeah, then we'll get to welding. I have to remake this piece because I cut it too fucking short. Because I don't know how to use levels and squares. Time is just ticking by too. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna weld back on the piece I cut off. Oops. I'm gonna weld this piece. Where is it? There it is. Doink, doink. Weld that back on because this isn't a roll cage per se, and I can do that. Normally I wouldn't be able to do that, but I'm doing it. Guys, I made this part and I'm so excited about it. It holds the lights. This is the gasket back of the lights. Look at that. That goes on there. And this goes like that. So I can mount a light on the tube. Let me show you how I made this at 10:30 on a Monday night. All right, folks, here's what we did. I made this part in Fusion based on thoughts. The first thing to go off of was this light. So these are the lights that were on the back of the existing roll bar on the UTV. They're little flashers. I think red and white, maybe just red. But really, the only thing to know is that this is how they interface with the world. You've got two holes and a slot shape. So the two holes, so I drew to two holes and then a hole for the wire. So that, if you go back to the screen, that is what this face is, okay? And then I wanted to just bend it, make it out of a single sheet of metal. So we designed this part in the sheet metal space in Fusion 360. These notches here on the sides are for the 1.5-inch pipe tube, the roll cage tube. So this notches over the roll cage tube. And then we've got a hole right here for the wire to come out. So the wire from the light goes in here, in the back, and then out this hole. And then it can run along the roll cage. So this thing fits and works great. And what I need to do, really, I don't know, this was just such a cool, listen, it's 10:30. I've been having a few beers just to get by. Whoa, it's almost 11. So really cool, the sheet metal space, I'm sorry, let me start over. The sheet metal space in Autodesk Fusion is really cool, particularly if you work with sheet metal, duh. But being able to design, I knew what I wanted this 3D part to look like, but I have to start with flat metal. So with the help of a plasma cutter, we can very quickly, plasma cutter and a metal bender or a brake, we can pretty quickly go from flat material to a three-dimensional object, so long as that it can be achieved with flat planes and bends. So this worked out very well. I made one, here it is. I'm gonna make 3 more and show you how to do it. So I've already exported my DXF, so really just copy this and paste it 3 times. Okay, and then situate these parts. Output this to file, and then we'll go cut these out, and I'll show you how I took them from flat to that. There's the rough part. And now what I do is slice the gap with the cutoff wheel to remove that clearance. And then I'll bend the sides the rest of the way. See, they're a little wide now. But yeah, man. So you take a 2D piece of metal, make a part. This brake isn't technically rated for 11 gauge, but by scoring the line like I did, like that, it effectively means that I'm bending less metal. So yeah, how about that? So I just ran a cutoff wheel through these corners, so I should be able to complete the bend now. Now it is perfectly square, and I can weld these corners up, and there it is. That is a light box. So I'm gonna make 2 more of these. We'll mark them out on the pipe up top. We'll tack them in place, and then we're that much closer to going home. Hello. Hello. Hi. Pleasure of you to join us today. We have so many exciting things happening in the shop.
Oh. Wow. Some ASMR sounds.
That's what I spent last night doing. A lot of that.
Oh, really?
No, this.
Oh, yeah, literally. Not euphemistically.
Look how terrible my lathe tools are.
Oof.
I had to turn this what it looked like before and after. Anyway, hi, up to speed real quick. Here's the cage as it is. Today's the last day we're working on it. So it's all gotta be done. Quite pleased with the body of the cage. I like my light boxes, although I was struggling to figure out how to finish them until just recently. I got a tool that is neat. We will be attaching the lights with riv nuts.
Ooh.
These are riv nuts. So you can drill a hole in a thing and then lock this piece in there, and you've created a threaded hole where there wasn't one without having to tack. These lights here and these shrouds, I just have 2 bolts that hold them on, and so that's what these are, right? But they're blind. Meaning I can't get to the backside. So what I'm gonna do is use these tiny little 1024 riv nuts, right?
There we go. Mm-hmm.
So we'll drill these holes out, and then we'll pop 2 of these in, and then we have a threaded hole that's small enough to accept a fastener that can fit down in here. That's the problem. So the lights will go on. On the back side of here, there'll be some conduit for the wiring to be threaded through. All the wiring will be going to the front corner there, which means this light comes over, that light's there, and these 4 lights get daisy chained together and go that way. And then that part will be done. I've got a cutout right here. We put this piece of tape here to show where we want to be able to, you grab this part of the bar as you get up. So I'll need to cut out like a portion of this to allow room for your hand to go through. So I'll try to find a way to make that look clean. Still need to cut the roof panel, but that'll be pretty quick. And then that gets welded on. This is just laid there so to give us an example. And I've got 3 of these cab connector plates fabricated and welded. The 2 on the other side are fully welded, and this one is. And that, of course, bolts the cage to the existing cab. This one's not welded yet because I need to design something in here that it either attaches to this, or both, and goes that way and creates like a ring. Because we're going to use this carabiner to lock it in. So, small little piece to design and cut on the plasma, and then that'll be done. Gonna widen these holes, make sure all the lights can be installed, wiring, conduit, and like 2 brackets, and the roof panel. Not too bad.
No.
It's just a bunch of small stuff. The roof panel's a little bit bigger, a lot of linear inches of welding on the roof panel. But it's okay. It's 11:30. This is my only job today. Tom is gonna come tomorrow morning and give me his good graces before we go to the powder coater. All right, well, I'm gonna start with the light pods because it seems fun. Oh, one thing I didn't show you yet is this. So, yeah, right, there is one more thing I gotta do. There's gonna be a shelf right here for an AED or defibrillator and like monitor device that sits up here. So there'll be 3 of these, bing, 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 the shelf on top. But last time Tom came by, I expressed my concern with, we want 12 inches up here, which means, patient's gonna be laying in here, and there's not a whole lot of clearance. If these are welded there, that's kind of a thing. So what we're gonna do instead is have 3 pipes welded on the uprights, smaller pipes, this diameter, 2 inches out, like that. And then these will slide over those, and then there'll be a pin right here, something like that, to lock that in. So the whole shelf can be removed. So we'll cut 3 2-inch sections of this, notch that the same as I've notched this, weld these on, sorry, and then the shelf, you get it. I've explained it 3 times now. So, yeah, none of it's complicated anymore, it's just time. So we're gonna turn some music on, we're gonna get a good montage going. So get a hot cocoa and some boiled liver and have a nice meal and strap in because it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, viewers, this was the light off the back of the cab, and it is now being mounted in the corner here in the cage. So I want to make a plate that goes in here with a hole to mount this light. So what I've done is I used the knowledge of this being a 6.5-inch centerline radius bend to create a circle. I just made this because I wanted to test. I can set this in here, and I know that 5 3/4-inch radius will fit perfectly inside this tube. So I'm gonna use that knowledge to create a plate that goes in here, probably like football shaped, to fit this way and this way, with a hole to mount this light like so. Okay? That's what's happening. Try to keep up. All right, so here are the random pieces I cut out, and this is what they're for. The ovals is how I will cap these, like that. We'll just weld that like that. This piece is gonna go here and mount the light that was on the back of the cab to that. And this piece is going to be retrofit into this panel like that to create a relief so that where that tape is, we want people to be able to grab this bar as a handle to get up. And right now you can't fit your fingers in there. So I should have designed this into the panel originally, but you know, I took inspiration from this here, and we're gonna pretty much just lay that on there, trace where it goes, cut out the missing parts, weld it in, and call it good. Just because I want to finish my train of thought here, I'm going to go ahead and weld this in first and bolt that light on, and then we will probably go back to the shelf so that I can finish that thought process, and then I'll do that. All right, so I'm going to through drill these guys for the inserts. So it's gonna be a 5/16 pin, so I went up one size, this is a 21/64, and I've got my fixture set right here so that I can slide each pipe in, and the flat face of the mitered cut will index up against this square here, so I can ensure all three pieces get set in the same place. And May just came to join. Hi, Miss May. Okay, making roof panel now. Streaming now. Engage roof panel. Now what? All right, there we go. Let's go back to the shelf. I guess we've achieved what we wanted. There you go. Handhold. What a pain in the butt. If only I'd have drawn that when I originally cut the panel. It's okay. One more thing figured out. It shouldn't work, everyone, but Wyatt says it should. I don't believe it. I think it should fail. Has every right to fail. But if I can get it in right. Not exactly smooth, I will say. I'm gonna have to file it down. But we're getting there. It's a step in the right direction. what's up, nerds? It's Christmas Eve, and we're gonna finish this roll cage. This is the end of week 3 after what I thought was gonna be a 1-week build. But you know, shit happens, it's all good. It's not worth talking about it, just finish. So, we're gonna finish the roof panel. Just got a lot of sort of going over to do, making sure all the welds are complete and the weld balls are ground off or chiseled off. Some small little brackets and pieces to make, but this is the last day. It's gotta be. Let's make it happen. If you've made it this far in the series, Walker's telling me that this is one of the longest videos we've ever filmed. We've got like over 3 hours of, well, 3 weeks of footage, but it's gonna end up being like 2 hours something total runtime. So this is either the end of a very long part 1 or the end of part 2 coming up. Thanks for sticking with us. Let's make some noise. Roof panel's done, ground smooth, as smooth as necessary. We're gonna move, almost done folks. Trying to finish in the next hour or so. Just gotta make a bracket up front to hook the Stokes basket to, 2 brackets over here to hook the basket to, fully weld this shelf, and then that's pretty much it for the metal. I may rethink some conduit, but yeah, like I said, I'm trying to wrap up in an hour. It is Christmas Eve, and trying to take next week off still. We'll see how likely that is. It might be that I come in on Monday and just bring this to the powder coater. Oh, very, very looking forward to that. Okay, let's finish strong.
You want the Stokes in it or not?
All right, we're here with Tom
Let's keep it in
and
there because
Marty
it's the worst
from
case.
Blacksburg Rescue Squad, and they are gonna test out the basket here. Hi, Tom. Marty,
All right, here we go.
go ahead.
This is not normally how you would load a patient.
No, the patient wouldn't be able to
But I
get
don't
in
want
on
to
there.
make Tom,
No,
overexert himself, putting me in
I
there.
haven't had dinner yet tonight. Just lay your ass down. Sorry.
No, that's the right humor for the YouTube for sure.
See, that was the concern right there.
Now, hopefully you don't have a scary dream and wake up real fast.
Yeah, right.
Now the problem is you may end up with a really robust person,
Right.
and that's going to be the main concern is a robust person.
Well, what about then you drag this behind on a rope? Is that insensitive? I'm not sure.
We're sorry, Patty.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I'll suggest though, right here on these edges, maybe
Yeah.
we can put some of that edge protection on there. That
Totally.
rubberized. Just that way, there's no risk of anybody
Yeah, so don't
slicing
lift your
it
head up
from there.
and beat it.
Yeah, somebody, Narcan, and then they go boom, boom.
That's been my fear with the shelf kind of the whole time.
That's why we have, in the beginning wanted it removable, but then the fear is, will it ever get to the point you just can't take it off?
Yeah, and pretty easily, I think it would.
Now, the one thing I was wondering about, and that's where it was just kind of if you would feel claustrophobic in here. And that's part of the reason I climbed up in here. I'm not a great person to test that because I climb around in caves, but it doesn't feel too bad. It feels pretty eerie and open. Like especially you look over here, it feels very open. I can see Tom. You know,
well, that'll freak you out.
That he's by my side, you know, like, yeah, right. And
then you know he's on drugs.
Yeah, then you'll see the monitor start.
He's hallucinating.
You guys already started, didn't you? Whatever you got in there is good. Keep feeling it.
Santa!
I got my hair cut.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you feel cared for?
Yeah, I feel very careful. Yeah.
Hold on, his heart stopped.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I was going to say, maybe a handhold so the patient can roll out of here, but I don't think that's
No, you're not
normal.
going to come out that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll be loaded in and out like a piece of bread in a toaster.
Yes, exactly right.
But see how the light's going to get mounted?
Yep.
Yeah, I screwed one in.
Now with the intent is all the wiring's going to come into the tube and all the wiring we've done inside the block.
And Tom, I can add any little chunks of tube in that front corner if you deem it helpful. Plenty of that conduit left over. You wanted to throw one right here just to...
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would still put one right here.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you don't mind, I think so, because at least it will keep it out of the way.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you haven't ground these yet, make sure when you put them in, they're kind of loose.
Yeah.
So when you pop the thing in, it will actually lock it in. And if you don't mind me suggesting, once you grind and put the gasket in, then pop the light in to make sure it still pops in.
Totally. Yeah, I'll remove about 1/8 of an inch of material all the way around, giving a quarter in each.
That should do it then.
Yeah.
Curious question, Tom.
Huh?
Just a question for you.
Go for it.
Were we thinking about wiring a charging thing for the monitor?
No.
Okay.
No. It'd just be
It's not necessary.
this light with the interior lights and the red lights. That's it.
That's just a backup, like a little light.
That's a rear load light.
I guess, yeah, I could switch that one independently. Plenty of room in here. I could add you don't want to take up any more
No, I don't
space in
think
here.
if you did anything, I would put it in here.
I can put a little curved gusset in there if you want to drill a hole later for a
Yeah, why don't
switch
you
or
put a
something.
gusset in here?
Okay.
So
I'm glad I'm filming this. I'm taking notes.
This way, the wire could come down into the gusset,
Yeah.
and then from there it would have to come back up into the tubing.
Cool.
But we could do that.
I was almost thinking about a lip here, but a lip would make it really hard to get the monitor up there. So
Yeah, we were trying to get as much height as possible.
yeah, I agree. And I wouldn't want to go any lower with the shelf after getting in there and experiencing.
No, well, believe it or not, we gave an inch more.
Yeah, we slammed it up into the ceiling as much as we could.
And if we get it back and everyone dislikes it, we can always have it cut out and touched up.
Sure can.
If the worst case scenario, if somebody said that they didn't like it, I would still recommend we keep this shelf here, but maybe we cut out the front section here where the head is.
Well, there's a
That's
thought.
worst case scenario.
Just to,
Yeah, but I personally like this. But,
Well, Sid wanted it there so that you could be sitting there watching it.
yeah, and it's a great location. It actually is a perfect location to sit here and use the monitor. So this is ideal.
well, fellas, other than some small things, what do you think?
I mean, I'm for it. I'm saying let it go. I'll be Elsa.
Let it go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, just touching up like the corners and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll do like an ergonomic pass on that shelf. Make
I
sure.
just wonder if you could
Just bend it all the way in.
bend it in and
Yeah.
just, like all the way across. Too. I don't know, but we might lose some rigidity if you do that. But yeah.
No. It was the reason I bent it initially was because I thought I was going to have to rely on the strength of the sheet itself, because when it was still removable, I wanted, a flat piece of metal will bend, but if you put a crease in it like that, it makes it rigid. So I bent that for the mobile shelf. So theoretically, if I'd have known the shelf was going to be welded, I probably wouldn't have put that bend. And I could just cut it off, actually, that lip all
Yeah,
the way.
but then you got another edge up here.
Yeah. But I guess you either protect that edge or you protect the other edge. I guess at least this way there's nothing to catch the monitor when you go to put it.
That's true too. That's what I was thinking. If you bend it back so that it's at the same angle as this tube right here,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
now
is
you've
it
got a
too late
nice
to
rolled
bend it?
edge.
No,
What's that?
I would do it with a hammer.
What are you gonna do? Whatever looks good.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's not really even structural, like you said. So whatever makes
So
it.
I'll just make a nice round there. and over there. And like that stuff that you can put on the edge of doors for vehicles, just get the industrial 3M stuff. And
That's what I was talking about.
We can line all the edges, yeah.
Yeah, it's we have. Oh my God, we have so much like crap at work.
I
I work
bet.
at Volvo trucks, so like.
Oh, yeah, just
they go
grab a
down to
roll of it.
everything.
Yeah, just grab a roll of it.
That and zip ties, most common parts.
Yeah.
Well, then you know what you got to bring back to the station. Seriously. Okay. Well, if we're content, then it's a go. Let's do it.
All right. Well, as soon as if the powder place is open on Monday, I'll bring it on Monday. I'll tweak some things.
Yeah,
in
just tweak those two
AM.
openings and maybe the plate here and the tube there, and then let her go.
Cool. Of course, and the place is only a block and a half that way.
Well,
I'll drive this
just
there.
walk it down there.
I'll drive this there. Have him pull it off with a forklift. You told me to test drive it. I haven't yet.
I'm
I've
not
been
telling-
very good.
I'm not telling you not to.
I'll slap my license plate
What
on
is the old
back.
phrase? What happens here stays here.
Yeah, that's what they say about Roanoke, sure.
Now, I will say, he put this one upside down. See,
Well, you know why I did that?
I don't know.
I had a reason.
I'm joking.
Oh, because
The wire.
either it must have been the wire. I was hoping that it would stay up and out of the way.
I was just joking.
I'll take this plate off and turn it around
Oh,
for you.
no.
Well, holy Santa Claus snow. I don't want to say it out loud because I almost don't believe it. But I think we're done. That's like when you don't want a dog to know that you are talking about treats, so you spell it out.
Yeah, we are D-O-N-E.
We are D-O-N-E. Let me give you guys a walk around. Today's big accomplishment was the roof. It is on and smooth and fully welded. Quite pleased. I've made 2 basket hold downs. So the Stokes basket here actually has a way to be fastened, which is important because there's probably an injured person in here, and you don't want to make them more injured through their ride. So if you look here, look down here, we've got 2 little metal tabs, and way up front there, we've got an eye hook with a carabiner. So what you do when you put this in here is you go like this, and you go like that, and then you go. This is still being refined, but the idea is
Look at that.
clippy clip. So the passenger, flip around. We've got our shelf up yonder. We decided to weld it in place, and it's very much in place. Up there will be the AED, the defibrillator and the vitals monitor and everything. We've got our 4 lights. We've got our rear scene light. We've got cab mounts on all 4 corners. Boom, boom. I think that's it. This one, we cut out this little part here so that you've got a handhold. So that's fixed.
Merry Christmas!
It is literally 3:45 on Christmas Eve, and we just finished Santa's sleigh. Dude, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys more than you know. I hope you appreciated all the work that Walker and I have put into this giant, massive episode. I'm exhausted. I'm at the point of mental breakdown. So, it's whiskey time.
Woo!
Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you. This build was all for all the fabricators out there. I'm very proud of what I've built here. I used pretty much every trick in my own book, and I operated at the limit of my skills for about 2.5 weeks straight. So very pleased. Shop Saver allowed us to do these amazing CNC cut panels. You know, used a lot of roll cage bending experience in this one. Some electrical wiring, automotive wiring experience. I don't know, I just kind of took everything I had. So really proud of this, and I think the Blacksburg Rescue Squad is going to be really proud of their new rig. So We might film this part, we might not, but this is gonna go to the powder coater next. It's gonna be powder coated satin black to match the rest of the rig here, and it'll be bolted back on and given to them. But taking next week off, hopefully this will be powder coated during that time, and then when we come back in January, goodbye. Thank you, bye. Hi everyone, Merry Christmas. In real time, it is December 26th and finally done, completely done. Other than powder coating, all the fabrication is finished. This morning, I did a few small things, finalized some bracketry. This is gonna be for a switch for the light that mounts here later, so Tom can drill that. We've got our mounts for our basket. We've got all of these guys, all the nuts on the backside of here have been welded captive, so these are all easy to assemble. We've got our pad eye for attaching the basket. Tack nuts, light clearance, so I clearance the shelf right here for the light that sits here. Plate on back of shelf, conduit in corner, added a little conduit right here because all the wires are gonna be coming from all over the cage right to this corner, so that'll help Tom. Shelf ergonomics, I rounded over some corners here on the shelf, making sure they're gonna put this rubber stuff on the bottom to protect those edges, protect people's heads from those edges rather. And then aluminum body fix. So when this thing, I'm about to take the whole cage off, and powder coaters unfortunately are closed this week. Bit of an oversight on my part, but I kind of figured they'd be open. I mean, I'm gonna be closed this week after today, so I guess it's a bit foolish to assume. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this off because I've got to fill some holes in the aluminum body. Got to pull out a dent right there. Yeah, very few things, but I want to get it off anyway. So we're gonna unbolt it, pull it off with the forklift, and then it'll be off. Wow, I know. By the way, comments saying shaky camera work. Sorry, I'm a fabricator. I'm a damn good camera operator, but I'm a fabricator first. And it's a miracle that I can film and work at the same time. Sometimes it feels like I can't. But for those of you complaining about the shaky camera work, sorry. Anywho, I'll put it on a tripod just for you nerds.